Casey, let me start by saying thank you yet again for making me laugh. I'm still dying with this picture. It's fabulous. Okay, so talking you through copying over stuff when you're in the middle of a live course or you're copying over pieces. And yes, it's tricky. And just so you know, I've made mistakes. I actually made one yesterday and was uh, crying and cursing and then realized that I recovered it. Well, most of it, let's put it that way. Okay, so um, I now usually check before I go in to get a sense of what's there, so I'm reminding myself. So here I'm looking, it's like, okay, we've got module 1. I don't have anything past that, so I know I can move those in. I now, because there's things in discussion, so part of what I'm doing here is I'm looking, there's a module 2. I don't have anything in module 2, so sometimes I think it's in 101, I have a module 1 stuff that was moved over with module 1 that was in the module 2, and that caused a little chaos. I'll show why in a second. Similarly, assignments, making sure there's just stuff module 1. Similarly, process logs, making sure there's just stuff module 1. And then grades. Now, here, this is an important one. Because I linked the grade columns to the assignments in the new stuff I'm copying over, I need to delete this grades here before I move things. So I'm going to delete module 2 because I'm going to recopy it over, and the new versions of the gradebook that I copy over will be already connected to the assignments, if that makes sense. I'm hoping that makes sense. So deleting those. So, oh, and then the last thing I know, I made some new rubrics, so I just want to quickly check. So you don't have, this course doesn't have the peer review rubrics, and then there's also a higher point without replies and reflection rubric that'll need to come in. And this becomes one of those things, it's just, I know that that's going to happen. There's actually also something over in the files. Okay, so I first check to see what's here to make sure I think what's here, or I know, you know, just to make sure it aligns with what I think is supposed to be here. So you know this part, go to import, find the 308 master, try to find the 308 master, here we go. Okay, as you know, we're selecting components. Okay, so the stuff in this, yes, content. I want to select individual items and I want to keep included associated files. Course files, yes, because I know there's one new course file. Discussions, yes, I want it selected. Assignments, yes, I want it selected individual. Grades, yes, I want select individual. Quizzes, yes, I want select individual. Rubrics, yes, I want select individual. Those are all the things that I went and looked at. Now the big things like settings and stuff, that's already been moved over. We don't want to disrupt that. Continue. Okay, so starting with rubrics, there's that high point, that 25 point, and then here's those 3 peer reviews. Bring those over. That's easy peasy. Grade items. Okay, so 1, remember we want to bring all of module 2 again. And then this always stinks. We have to, and I have to go remind myself how far we are. Have to manually, so through 4, have to manually go add all of the grade items. So starting, there's due date 5. Da, da, da. Yes, this is a pain, and trust me, the grades, it's a pain. I should probably hit pause, but instead I'm going to talk through it and ask how you're doing. Please notice as you get to the end here, it stops at 9. You have to go back to the top. Okay, so notice that's 1. There's 10s. 1s and 11s and 10s, you got to be careful. Make sure you're carefully only getting the numbers you need. So it goes up through 10. And the module 2, continuing. Ta-da! Okay, submission folders. That, it's just all the module 2s. Easy, easy. Discussion forums, again, easy, easy. It's just all the module 2s. Content modules, again, easy, easy. Module 2. And quizzes, they don't have the select all button. I think that's just a mistake in D2L. So we have to manually click each one, but module 2. Okay, the files, I just know I added a file called Rhetorical Précis. You've taught 102, you know what it is. Okay, there's everything pulled over, or ready to be pulled over. You know now it's going to chug. I am going to hit pause. I'm back. It's done copying now. Here's the important part. In the same way I checked before, now I need to check again. So I go back to content. I go down. Usually I make sure it's here and that's in draft mode. I'm going to move it above your digital textbook. You can move, yeah, well, anyways, yeah, doesn't matter, but I just make sure it's in draft mode. Then I go to discussions. Okay, discussions I usually just skim down and make sure they're kind of all there. If you didn't make it, but make sure nothing seems wonky. Assignments, same thing, eyeball. There's the new ones, you know, don't forget to turn them on, re-enable. The reason I don't re-enable it for folks is one, I want them to know, and two, I think if I re-enable it, it doesn't work. I think it needs to be the instructor of record. I'm not sure. I don't know. But anywho, yes, re-enable it. Process log, same thing. Just make sure that they copied. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. Make sure that they copied. You'll notice, I'm just going to draw your attention. For Module 2, the collaborative, I labeled all the activities, individual or group. I'm hoping that will help you all and help them. Okay, so process log, then skip over to grades. Grades, here's where you have to do some work. So one, you want to pull Module 2 back up. That's in a reorder. Where is it? There it is. Put it back in second order. 2, here's the trickier thing. Notice it's now saying that the final calculation is now 125. It's because when I pulled in the new homeworks, it made a second homework section. You got to move them all. This is basically the burden I bear by being behind. So the easiest way to do it is to bulk edit, bulk edit. And then you come down to what I do is I scroll all the way to the bottom to what I just moved in. And then over here on the right, I need to move it into the first homework category. So as you can see, I'm just moving them from the second homework category to the first homework category. I am going to pause again. Okay, so the nice thing is when you work your way from the bottom, you then, you know you're done when you hit this last one before the gray homeworks batch. There we go. So there, now I'm going to click save. Now all the homework should be listed in the first homework category, but the second homework category is still here. It's still registering is over, and that you just have to delete. So come down to the bottom, hit delete. And at the top now, there's no longer the warning because everything adds up to 100 again. I hope this makes sense. I'm ecstatic that you're taking the time to figure out how to do all this, and who knows? Well, hey, just even in the future, if you can move your own stuff, but who knows, ask you to help me move other things. Thanks a bunch for all the hard work you do.